Hey everybody, so I'm continuing in my effort to finish up the art journals that I have that have just a couple of pages in them before I buy any new art journals. So I'm dying to buy a new art journal. There's a couple that I have in mind, and there's so many journals that just have a page or two left. So I have finished a few of them. These, let's see, from this one up to here, I have finished all of those. And you guys have been so patient, but you are sending me so many messages on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook saying that you want me to start doing the flip throughs. I literally just have a couple of pages left in a couple of journals that I want to get done before I go into flip through mode. So please be patient. The flip throughs are coming. I've never been a big fan of flip throughs before on my private journals, like my intuitive journals, but I'm thinking about opening those up too. So there are a couple of flip throughs already that I have on YouTube, so you can go view those until some of these are ready. I may actually even redo the flip through that I did on YouTube on this one because I finished it. When I did the first flip through, I hadn't finished it. So anyway, so those are the finished ones. These ones need to be finished. Actually, I'm not including the watercolor, the Etcher watercolor journals in this goal to finish because they have really high quality watercolor paper in them. I'm not doing watercolors right now, so I'm giving myself some space on those. I'm not including those, but I do have a few others that need to be done. And this one is a little handmade journal that I made, oh my gosh, a few years ago anyways. And this is the one that I'm going to work in today. It only has, there's only like two pages in the back cover that need to be done. The inside of the front cover and the back cover and the inside of the back cover, and then it's done. So this will probably be the first one that I do a flip through of. But today what I thought I would do is I thought I would do a paint along with me video. I usually speed my painting videos up, but because this is such a tiny painting, I think I can do it in a reasonable enough time that I can that I can film and play the video at my regular speed while I'm painting. So you can watch how I paint it, and you can even paint along. You could do a bigger version, you could do a small version. It's totally up to you. But I will do that today. I'm going to move my whole setup over here to where I have my lights set up and my stand for my phone. So let me get it moved over and we'll get started. Okay, so in the next segment, I'll list all of the paints that I'm going to be using, and I'll show you the brushes that I'm going to be using. So go get some supplies together and paint along with me if you feel like it. It's snowing outside, it's cold, it's a perfect afternoon to spend in the studio. See you in a minute. Okay, so this is the tiny handmade journal that I'm going to try to get finished today. This is the kind of a rough sketch of the portrait that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it in the SoFlat paints. I'm going to just use up what I have on my palette, and if I need to replace any colors, I'm going to use Cadmium Primrose, Naphthol Red Light, Ultramarine Blue, possibly Payne's Gray, probably no black, unless I want to make a green. So I'm not sure about that. And of course, white. So this is the palette of colors that I'm going to use. And I have, let's see, what did I do here? I have the back inside cover, the back page, and the front inside cover to finish on this journal. And then I'll be ready to do a flip through on this one. So that's today's goal. Really quick portrait, very loose, quick portrait on the inside of the back cover. Okay, I'm going to start by mixing some flesh tones. And I have to remind myself what a tiny painting it is that I'm doing because I'll probably mix way too much color, but that's all right because I can use it on another painting. So I'm basically just mixing up some leftover browns and flesh tones from when I did these paintings. I had some browny beige and yellowy colors, so I'm gonna mix those up and use those for the flesh tones. I want some blue. Gonna mix some of the darker flesh tone into the blue. And then I want sort of an off yellow, a red. I've got a lot of this left over. Let me see if I can mix something up with this color. See what happens if I add some yellow to that. All right, I may have to tone that down some more, but I'm going to leave it there for now because I think that will work. A little bit of Payne's Gray. All right, ready to get started, I think. Let's go. Okay, I'm going to start out with a Princeton Snap Bright Shader, size 4, and I may also switch to a Princeton Select Chisel Blender, size 2. And then I have a couple of larger brushes. Also, these are also Princeton Snaps. This is the flat shader and the bright shader, size 10 and 6. I might use those on the background. And I have a Blick Master Stroke, Finest Red Sable, round, size 2. So we'll see. Don't really have a plan, just sort of going to go at it and hope it comes out pretty loose. All right, here goes. I don't know if you can hear my dog snoring in the background. It's Posy, the one with the long hair. Okay. Just blocking in color at this point. I have these paints, that's Posy storing. I have these paints in a Masterson Stay Wet palette, and they are really fluid right now, more fluid than I wish they were. My palette might be a little too wet because I sprayed it down yesterday after I finished painting. Also, the surface of this paper, this handmade journal was made with collaged papers, and now that I'm thinking about it, this is a really weird surface that I'm painting on. And even though it has a light coat of gesso over it, it's really slick. There's some sort of sizing or finish on it, and I'm not liking the way the paint is going on it. I made this little journal a long time ago, so I don't remember what the details are of what I made, what I used. So far it's pretty transparent because it's so thin. So I mixed up a color for her hair using the Naphthol red light, some Payne's gray, a little bit of burnt umber, and what else? Oh, I threw in a little bit of yellow. Tiny, tiny. Super tiny. Sometimes when you're trying to make really fine lines, you can sort of just print with the brush just by putting a flat down. Sometimes it's my hand's a little shaky for doing it with like a liner brush like this. And it's a little more expressive, I think, when you just sort of press down with the flat to get the line. For some reason, when I'm looking through the camera, the painting is looking a lot darker than it actually is. I'm not sure if that's actually happening. I hope it's not. I hope it's coming through more accurate than it's looking to me at the moment. Tiny, so tiny. Posy. Popo. You're snoring a lot, girl. I mixed up a fleshy off-white color for the whites of the eyes. I put a little bit of a darker color in here to define the lid a little bit. I'm just going back and forth with the flesh tones that I mixed up, and I'm adding some blues to darken some areas. Try using this color for the lips. A little more saturated than I would like it, so I dulled it down with some of the other flesh tones. Probably could be a little bit lighter still, for the bottom lip anyways. Top lip. I find it's really hard for me to stay loose on tiny paintings. Would like to get a bit of a darker line through here. This is the first portrait that I've done with these SoFlat, golden SoFlat acrylics. So it has more of a posterized look than, say, you could get with open acrylics or oils. I haven't really learned the blending properties of these paints yet, but I'm kind of liking the posterized look. Not minding it too much. This was that blue color that I mixed up before with ultramarine blue, some of the flesh tones, and I think I added a little red and yellow to it as well to adjust it. Okay. Give her, feel like there's needs to be a little bit of a more bluey shadow area over here. Just to emphasize that chin a little bit. I'm going to try to do her pupils with Payne's Gray and see what I think of that. So she's already way tighter than I meant for her to be. I always get so caught up in these that I end up painting them quite tightly, these little tiny ones. All right, let's work on that last little bit of hair. Hopefully this is the color I mixed for the hair. Gotta get a different brush. That little brush is driving me crazy. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move up to the size 6. Actually, I'm going to, let me think about this for a minute. I'm going to move up to the size 10 snap flat sander for a minute. And I'm going to think about what I want to do for her blouse in the background. I guess I'm going to start with this for her blouse. Mix some Payne's Gray into my collar, or my the lighter dress color that I mixed up before, and that's the same color I used for her eyes. Can't talk and paint at the same time. Since the light's coming from this direction, I'm going to make, and the collar is higher than the rest of the blouse, I'm going to make that a little lighter, but then where it recedes back, it would have a shadow here. Be a little darker behind her neck. All right, in the background, let's see, I want kind of a light color, but I'd like a little bit of a mix of all these other colors, so kind of grayish, but with a hint of all the other colors in it. Let's see what we can come up with. I'll just lay this down first. as I dip my brush back into the kind of muddy gray I mixed up with all the other colors, I'm adjusting it so that it's a little redder, a little bluer, to sort of get a mix of colors in there. I definitely have my Stay Wet palette too wet for these golden paints. They're just really thinned out, and so I will come in and do another coat with these when that layer dries. You know, I say that, but I'm almost kind of liking the streaky background. I gotta think about that for a little bit before I come back in on that. Kind of liking it. Couple of things I may touch up. Give her some variation in her hair. Oops. Okay, now I'm just really getting futzy with the face because I love messing with faces. I think I will come back in and do a second coat on the background. Oh, see, I'm going to do another coat down on here. A little dark, a little red. Again, just using different shades of the grays made up of all the colors that are in the painting, and then adding, tilting it or leaning it a little red or a little blue according to, well, just to mix it up really. Okay. Oh, I almost forgot the her necklace. All right, let's do her necklace, and then I'm going to call it quits. Okay, give her a necklace, and then I'm calling it done. I think that's too vibrant, so I'm going to mix in a little bit of Payne's Gray. Okay, I think I'm going to call it done. There's a couple more things. With some Payne's Gray. The only thing is, I don't like the way her mouth is turned. I feel like that could be a little different. Okay, lastly, give her a highlight. And calling her done. But that is the last page. I gotta do the inside of the front cover. And then this ancient handmade journal will be done, and I can do a flip. Oh, that's right, I gotta do the back. Other than that, she'll be done. But there she is. I got fussier with her than I meant to, but doesn't that always happen? And that's what my palette looks like afterwards. It's a hot mess. So, that's it. I'll be back when I do the other one, the other pages, and then this one will be finished. And I'll do a flip through. Okay. Hubby's been patiently waiting. Where'd he go? He wants to nail a board onto my windowsill, so I'm going to close out and let him do that. Bye. Bye, baby. He's a good sport.